Should be by Haimak de Bereisha, which means that it's not ma'akiv the mincha. It doesn't affect the order of how the mincha is brought, but not that the reason is that it's not the same organism, it's not the same type, that it's not the same ingredients as the mincha. The Rabbanan. What do the Rabbanan hold? We've explained Rabbi Yosi that you don't have one mater being mefagel another mater. What do the Rabbanan hold? Kiamrina nein mater mefagel as a mater. Does the Rabbanan agree that one mater cannot affect another mater? And adds in the parentheses the explanation for it, which is not part of the Gemara. On Shavuos you bring two sheep. If someone slaughters one of them with intention to bring the other one on the following day, it doesn't become pigel. Those the Rabbanan do agree that one mater cannot affect another mater, but that's like two independent, two totally separate things. So what do the Rabbanan hold about this between kaimetz and levina? So hani mili.
Yeah, but they both have to do. They're bringing it because they're both together, though.
Right.
Even though it's two separate, but they're together,
right.
Just like here.
Right. So that's the question.
Right.
So why is there a difference? Over there, by the two kvasim of Shavuos, the two sheep of Shavuos, if you bring one with the intention to bring the other one in the wrong time, it's valid. It's okay. It doesn't count. That thought doesn't count. It doesn't carry over. Over here, you're offering the kaimetz to bring the levina. The thought does carry over according to the Rambam. The Gemara explains, Hani mili hechad layikva b'chad mana. That's because it wasn't inserted into the same vessel. You put the levina inside the vessel with the flour and the oil, it's considered one sacrifice. Rabbi Yanai says, Rabbi Yanai is an early Amayra in Eretz Yisrael. Likot levina bizarre is puzzle. See, what would happen is, after they did the kaimetz, then they would take the levina off the top of the mincha, and they would offer that as well. But they would have to collect it, gather it up, because it was placed in the vessel together with the mincha. They would have to collect that levina. Rabbi Yanai says that if a non-kayin does that collecting of the levina, it's invalid. Gemara asks, my taima, what's the reason for that? Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yirmiyah explains, Mishum halacha naguba. It's connected to the fact that the mincha needs to be walked up to the altar. And the walking is one of the services. So he's saying that collecting the incense, that's the frankincense, which is placed on top, is connected to the walking of the mincha up to the altar. Kasavar, and he holds, halacha shlei beregel shmei halacha, that walking it not by foot is considered walking. V'halacha bezar psula. And when a non-kayan does the halacha, it's also invalid. What's an example of walking that's not by foot?
Car.
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
Hoverboard.
The example would be was that you stretched out. You didn't actually move your feet. So the stretching of it is considered the halacha. It's the moving of the mincha, not necessarily the transferring, not necessarily the moving of his feet. So therefore, the moving of the levina is considered halacha. The gathering of it together is considered halacha. And because he's not a kayan,
that's like by Yani Nesach. Some people have opinion that just they're
shaking it.
Yeah, shaking it.
Right. Yeah, that's the main thing. Okay. Amar Rav Mari, Afana Nami Tanina. Rav Mari says that we also learned this in the Mishnah. Now, I should point out that sometimes this is a problem. Why does Rabbi Yanai have to say it? We learned it in the Mishnah, right? Sometimes we say, oh, Rav Mari's right, we see it in the Mishnah. So when do we do this, when do we do that? Depends how clear it is in the Mishnah. If it's not so clear in the Mishnah, then Rabbi Yanai is teaching me something that wasn't clear in the Mishnah, but now that you say it, I can see it in the Mishnah. So, Afanan Amitin was also taught in the Mishnah. Ze'aklal, this is the rule. Kol ha'kometz, anyone that does the komitza, v'noisen bekeli, and he puts it into the vessel. V'ha'maylach, and someone that walks it. V'ha'makter, and he offers it up. And how does it conclude? This was our Mishnah. And if he does it with the wrong intention, or with the right intention, it's going to affect. Bishleima kaimetz. When it comes to the kaimetz, hainu sheichet. You know, there's 4 services that are in a sacrifice. You have the shchita, and that corresponds to the kmitza. Moilech, the walking it up to the altar. Nami hainu moilech. That's also walking the sacrifice up to the altar. So we have 2 things corresponding. Shchita corresponds to kmitza. Walking it up to the altar of the mincha corresponds to the walking of the sacrifice. Maktir, the burning of the sacrifice, the burning of the mincha of the kaimetz, is hainu zayrik, is the sprinkling of the blood. Elanaisen bekeli maika ovid, which, putting the kaimetz into a vessel, what does that correspond to in an animal sacrifice? Ilim mishum dedami lekabala, if you would want to say that it's similar to receiving the blood. Both of them are putting something in a vessel. Midami, can you compare? Hasa memela, over there the blood is spurting out and it goes into the vessel. You're just holding a vessel, you're not doing anything, you're just catching the blood. Hacha kashakal varami, over here you're taking the kaimetz and you're placing it down. You can't compare. So what is it similar to? Since it's something that needs to be done, so it's considered an avaida. Avaida chashuvi. So al karchach mashveleka kabbalah. So that's why we're going to compare it to receiving the blood, because you need to put it into a vessel. So hachanami here also. Kivan de'leisagila de'le'avadla. In other words, what we're doing here is we're saying that the fact that it's something that's necessary turns it into a service. So here also, that it's necessary to gather the frankincense, that turns it into a service. And avaida chashuvi. Al karchach mashvaleki elacha. So therefore, we're going to consider it like walking up to the altar. That's what he's saying. We have this in a Mishnah. Because the Mishnah considers the putting it into a vessel as one of the services, so we're going to also consider the collecting of the frankincense. The Gemara says, "Loi, that's not compelling, because li'olam dedami lekabala, catching the blood is similar to putting it into the vessel. Ayah the kakashalach, putting the kaimetz into the vessel. Hasa memela hacha kashakal varami. Over there, it was done automatically. The blood was going into it. Here, you're doing it. You're taking it. You're putting it. It says michti tavaya kedushas keliu. What's the difference? You're putting it into a vessel. The vessel is sanctifying it. He did it. You did it. It happened. Mali memela mali kashakal varami. What's the difference? If you did it intentionally, if you did it actively, or if it just fell into it or spurted into it and therefore you have no proof from a Mishnah that anything that's necessary to do is considered a service. It happens to be that this is a service, but not because the Mishnah says that putting a kaimetz into a vessel is a service. It must be that anything that's necessary is a service. Putting the kaimetz into the vessel is just similar to catching the blood. And it doesn't prove anything about collecting the frankincense. Okay. Mishnah says, Shachat shnei kvasim, if the 2 lambs were on Shavuos were slaughtered, lechol achas menachalas l'machar, to eat one of the breads. There were 2 breads that were also brought together with it. The first loaves that were brought from the wheat. The following day. In other words, while the slaughtering was happening, there was intention there to offer the bread on the following day. Hiktish shnei bazichen, and they were offering the 2 spoonfuls of frankincense, which are with the showbread. Lechol echad menach sedarim lamachar, to eat one of the rows. There were 2 rows of bread, 6 on each side. And while the bazichen were being offered, there was intention about eating the bread. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Oisa hachalav, Oisa seder shechishav alav pigel. That there is pigel on the one that it was thought about. B'chayavan alav kares.
What's the difference between here and over there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Rabbi Yossi over there said that the levina doesn't become pigel, right? We're going to have to see in the Gemara. However, Bahasheni pasal bein bekaris. The other loaf, or the other row of loaves, depending on if we're talking about the lambs or we're talking about the showbread, so that's only pasal, but it doesn't become. It's not pigel. The Chum say they're both pigel, both rows, both breads. Amar Rav Huna, the Gemara says. Rav Huna says, Omer haya Rabbi Yossi, pigel b'yerech shel yamin, le'nespag le'yerech shel smal. If during one of the services of an animal sacrifice, he has intention to eat the right leg out of its appropriate time, the following day, let's say. So only the right leg becomes pigel, but not the left leg. My timer. What's the reason for Rabbi Yossi? Iba yasema svara, iba yasema kra. If you want, I can say it's logical. If you want, I can say there's a pasuk. Iba yasema svara. If you want to say it's logical, layadifa machshava mimaisa tuma. Thought cannot be worse than making it impure. V'ilu atme charever miyatamile lekula. If one limb becomes tummy, does the other limb, or does the entire animal become tummy? No, only that limb. No, it happens to be that it spreads. There's different things, characteristics with bel tumah, but it doesn't become the same tumah just because you touched one. Iba yasei makra, or if you want, I can say there's a pasuk. It says, "V'nefesh ha'chelas mimena avei natisa, mimena v'lei mechavered." The soul that eats from it carries the sin from it, but not from its friend, not from its neighbor, and so therefore, that only that limb itself will be pigel. Okay, let's stop over here.
Okay,
Yeah, have a good day.
Take care, Jeff.
thank you.